So 12 hours ago, I published my review video of the new Yongnuo 14mm f2.8 lens. If you haven't already seen it and you want to, just click somewhere up here around about now. But my basic conclusion was that whilst the lens doesn't perform optically as good as the more expensive 14mm lenses on the market, it is the best budget option 14mm lens that has autofocus currently available. And 6 hours after I published that video, Samyang announced their new 14mm f2.8 lens for full-frame DSLRs with autofocus. So, now that we've established that Samyang clearly hate me, what can we expect from this new lens? Now, I haven't seen any finalised prices for this new Samyang lens. However, I have read that it's going to be approximately a third of the price of the Canon 14mm lens. Given that that lens is £1,700, that's probably going to put the Samyang somewhere in the region of £550 to £600. Now this would make sense given that the mirrorless version of this lens that's already on the market for Sony full frame cameras is around about that price already. So that would put it somewhere around about £100 more expensive than the Yongnuo lens. So we know the Samyang lens has the advantage of a weather-sealed body, which will potentially appeal to landscape photographers or anyone who's going out and about with the lens, although you're still going to have the same filter issue with the Samyang lens because that doesn't have the ability to put screw-on filters in either. Now, in terms of image quality from this Samyang lens, it's going to be an interesting situation. If you watch the image quality test of my Yongnuo review, you'll basically see that in terms of image performance from the Yongnuo, you get decent sharpness, wide open in the center of the frame, but the corners are quite soft. But once you stop the lens down to f4, you get decent levels of sharpness, and from f5.6, the frame is sharp all the way across. Now, I haven't used that Samyang autofocus mirrorless lens because I don't have a Sony system. But from the reviews that I have seen, the story optically seems to be that while you get very good sharpness in the middle of the frame throughout the aperture range, the corners of the lens remain pretty soft until you get all the way down to about f11 or f16. So are we going to see the same story from this new DSLR version? Well, not necessarily. The current lens for Sony mirrorless uses 14 glass elements in 10 groups. Because this new lens is designed for DSLRs, the lens inherently sits further away from the sensor than in a mirrorless. So Samyang have had to add another glass element into the optical formula in order to get that to work. So we may find that the image quality of the DSLR version is better than the mirrorless. However, if the Samyang lens for DSLRs is the same as their mirrorless version, then I would probably say that the Yongnuo is going to be better optically. Now, one other key thing about this Samyang lens that's going to be interesting to see is the build quality of the thing itself. In terms of the Yongnuo, as I mentioned in the review video, the thing is built like an absolute brick. However, with the new Samyang lens, the press release points quite a lot towards how lightweight this new lens is to carry around. It's stated as weighing 485 grams, or around about 17 ounces. By comparison, the Yongnuo lens is 27 ounces, or over 750 grams. However, as we've already established, the Samyang lens is made up of 15 glass elements, whereas the Yongnuo is made up of only 12. And glass accounts for quite a bit of the weight within a lens. So if we're looking at a lens that has 3 more glass elements, what is that going to mean in terms of build quality for the lens itself? And in terms of autofocus, again, I can't comment on what the Samyang lens is truly going to perform like. However, I have seen enough reviews of the mirrorless lens version to know that the autofocus is very, very quiet, but also pretty slow. I suspect the Samyang autofocus is going to be quieter than the Yongnuo's, but I'm not convinced it's going to be quite as fast. So it's going to be interesting to see how Samyang's first venture into autofocus for a DSLR is going to work out. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this new Samyang lens is going to be a big hit, or do you think it's going to be a complete flop? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can see all my future videos. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It is always appreciated. And until next time, I will see you later.